Azazel. According to the Expositor's Bible commentary, Azazel is the Hebrew word for scapegoat. This is the only place that the Hebrew word is found in the whole Hebrew Old Testament. It says that the Book of Enoch, extra-biblical Jewish theological literature dated around 200 BC, is full of demonology and reference to fallen angels. The EBC Volume 2 says that this text uses late Aramaic forms for these names, which indicates that the Book of Enoch most likely relies upon the Hebrew Leviticus text rather than the Leviticus text being reliant upon the Book of Enoch. Christian commentators. Origen identifies Azazel with Satan, Satan. In Mandeism, Azazel is occasionally mentioned as Azazel in list of Mandean text. In the right Ginza, Azazel is the name of an Uthra, celestial being or angel. In Islam, Azazel appears in relation to the story of Harut and Marut, a pair of angels mentioned in the Quran. Although not explained by the Quran itself, Muslims exegetes such as Hisham ibn al-Kilbi and Abu Ishaq al-Thalabi usually link the reason of their abode to a narration related to the watchers known from 3 Enoch, just as in 3 Enoch angels complained about humans' iniquity, whereupon God offered a test that the angels might choose 3 among them to descend to earth, endowed with bodily desires, and prove that they would do better than humans under the same conditions. Accordingly, they chose Azariah and Azazel. However, Azazel repented his decision and God allowed him to turn back to heaven. The other 2 angels failed the test and their names were changed to Harut and Marut. They ended up on earth introducing men to illicit magic. Apocrypha, Enochic literature. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, the name Azazel occurs in line 6 of 4Q203, the Book of Giants, which is part of the Enochic literature found at Qumran. Despite the expectation of Brant, to date no evidence has surfaced of Azazel as a demon or god prior to the earliest Jewish sources among the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Book of Enoch brings Azazel into connection with the biblical story of the fall of the angels, located on Mount Hermon, a gathering place of the demons of old. Here, Azazel is one of the leaders of the rebellious watchers in the time preceding the flood. He taught men the art of warfare, of making swords, knives, shields, and coats of mail, and taught women the art of deception by ornamenting the body, dyeing the hair, and painting the face and the eyebrows, and also revealed to the people the secrets of witchcraft and corrupted their manners, leading them into wickedness and impurity until at last he was, at Yahweh's command, bound hand and foot by the archangel Raphael and chained to the rough and jagged rocks of Ha-Dudel, Beth Hudadu, where he is to abide in utter darkness until the great day of judgment, when he will be cast into the fire to be consumed forever. The whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin. According to the Book of Enoch, Azazel, here spelled Azazel, was one of the chief Grigori, a group of fallen angels who married women. Many believe that this same story, without any mention of Azazel, is told in the book of Genesis 6:2-4. And it comes to pass that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. These sons of God have often been thought of as fallen angels, and are sometimes equated with the Nephilim. On the other hand, it has also been argued that the phrase refers only to pious men, or else that it should be translated sons of the rulers. In the Book of Enoch, Azazel is responsible for teaching people to make weapons and cosmetics, for which he was cast out of heaven. The Book of Enoch 8:1-3a reads, And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. The corruption brought on by Azazel and the Grigori degrades the human race, and the 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. The souls of men made their suit, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. Thou seest what Azazel hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were in heaven, which men were striving to learn. God sees the sin brought about by Azazel and his Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is in Dudaliel, and cast him therein, and place upon him rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness, and let him abide there forever, and cover his face, that he may not see light. Azazel's face is foretold near the end of Enoch 2:8, where God says, "On the day of the great judgment, he shall be cast into the fire. He will be delivered to the angels of punishments, Satan." Several scholars have previously discerned that some details of Azazel's punishment are reminiscent of the scapegoat rite. Thus, Lester Grab points to a number of parallels between the Azazel narrative in Enoch and the wording of Leviticus 16, including the similarity of the names Asael and Azazel, the punishment in the desert, the placing of sin on Asael Azazel, the resultant healing of the land. Daniel Stokel also observes that the punishment of the demon resembles the treatment of the goat in aspects of geography, action, time, and purpose. Thus, the place of Asael's punishment, designated in Enoch as Dudeo, is reminiscent of the rabbinic terminology used for the designation of the ravine of the scapegoat in later rabbinic interpretations of the Yom Kippur ritual. Stokel remarks that the name of place of judgment, Dudeo, is conspicuously similar in both tradition and can likely be traced to a common origin. Azazel in 1 Enoch has been compared to Greek titan Prometheus. He might be a demonized counterpart of a heavenly creature who provided knowledge for people to make weapons, thus causing bloodshed and injustice. The latter might be identified with Greek kings and generals who suppressed the Jews with military forces, but learned how to make their weapons by this specific expelled creature. In the 5th century, 3 Enoch, Azazel is one of the 3 angels. Azza, Shemhazai, and Oza are the other 2, who opposed Enoch's high rank when he became the angel Metatron. Whilst they were fallen at this time, they were still in heaven, but Metatron held a dislike for them and had them cast out. In the Apocalypse of Abraham. In the extra-canonical text, the Apocalypse of Abraham, 1st CE, Azazel appears as an unclean bird who came down upon the sacrifice which Abraham prepared. This is in reference to Genesis 15:11. Birds of prey came down on the carcasses, but Abram drove them away. And the unclean bird spoke to me and said, "What are you doing, Abraham, on the holy heights where no one eats or drinks, nor is there upon them food for men? But these all will be consumed by fire and ascend to the height. They will destroy you." And it came to pass, when I saw the bird speaking, I said this to the angel, "What is this, my Lord?" And he said, "This is disgrace. This is Azazel." And he said to him, "Shame on you, Azazel, for Abraham's portion is in heaven, and yours is on earth. For you have selected here and become enamored of the dwelling place of your blemish. Therefore the eternal ruler, the mighty one, has given you a dwelling on earth. Through you the all-evil spirit was a liar, and through you come wrath and trials on the generations of men who live impiously." Abraham 13:4-9. The text also associates Azazel with the serpent and hell. In chapter 23, verse 7, it is described as having 7 heads, 14 faces, hands and feet like a man's, and on his back 6 wings on the right and 6 on the left. Abraham says that the wicked will putrefy in the belly of the crafty worm Azazel, and be burned by the fire of Azazel's tongue. Abraham 31:5. And earlier says to Azazel himself, "May you be the firebrand of the furnace of the earth. Go, Azazel, into the untrodden parts of the earth, for your heritage is over those who are with you." Abraham 14:5-6. Here, there is the idea that God's heritage, the created world, is largely under the dominion of evil, i.e., it is shared with Azazel. Abraham 20:5. Again identifying him with the devil, who is called the prince of this world by Jesus. John 12:31.